At the time of the Civil War, the states were all but united. With the secession of many southern states, the North would need a powerful leader who would unite them into a force that could claim victory. This charismatic leader was Abraham Lincoln. The North claimed victory because of Lincoln and his ability to compromise, relate to the common people, and rally his forces. A few of Lincoln's actions that helped him lead the North to victory included his dealing with the border states, the Emancipation Proclamation, and the Gettysburg Address. Lincoln recognized the importance of border states and did all he could to ensure their Union sighting. He believed the states were so important, in fact, that he thought he would lose without the support of Kentucky. Lincoln's handling the problems evidenced his great political skills. Lincoln managed to offer concessions to governors, avoid undermining military authority, and publicly affirm his policy of all qualified voters being allowed to vote without disturbance.
So Lincoln's political genius lay in his ability to compromise. This was showcased in his dealings with the border states. He never wanted to seem heavy-handed, and he always minimized military occupation, because if the military was in with the civilians, it could have created friction in leading the governments to join the Confederacy. The only time he got close to doing this was when he suspended habeas corpus, or the ability to a fair and speedy trial, in military lines along Maryland. The only reason he did this was because if the Confederacy had captured Maryland, they could have gotten to D.C., which would have led to recognition and support from other countries and possibly them winning the war.
The Emancipation Proclamation changed the course of war in that it allowed for black soldiers to fight in the Union. 3 million slaves can now lend their arms in their liberation, dwarfing the dwindling Confederate Army even further. Within the proclamation, Lincoln declared that the liberation of slaves was necessary as an act of war, testifying to his great political dealings.
Lincoln had a way of making this idea of freeing the slaves seem more agreeable and constitutional to the majority of the people who didn't want to free the slaves. He did this by making it a war necessity, and that it would end the war, which it would by weakening the South and adding more able-bodied, fresh men to the Union's army who wanted to fight because this was their cause. It hit home for them.
Lincoln was asked only to speak a few words but ended up inspiring a crowd. This speech was considered the common remark of everybody by many and won him support as a leader. As Gettysburg was a turning point in the war, this made his speech respectable, not an act of desperation. His morality on the issue at hand expressed respect for those who gave their lives rather than the politics of war.
What made Lincoln's speeches really good is just, unlike Everett, who spoke there, he used a lot of plain language and refrained from using any political topics in his debate, just so we can show kind of a sense of empathy and morality over those who died. And one of the quotes, "A government of the people, for the people, and by the people," really inspired a lot of people because that kind of language has not been used since the Declaration of Independence, and it gave people a sense of patriotism. And the Gettysburg Address didn't only speak to those who were fighting or those who were against slavery, but also the whites, the blacks, and anyone really who cared about making their country a better place. And now, since it inspired a lot of people, the Union has a lot more dedicated soldiers within its army, and winning the war is pretty much inevitable right now.